Live, but we're not live. What condescending thing is that? Where it says, "Oh, hey, you guys, we're live. We're not live, but we're live." I just now set it to being live. What are you talking about? Let's remove this. Guys. Gotta do all the extra work to making this look better, or at least act correctly while it's going through, but it's being wonky. It's being very wonky. Let's see. Desktop. Playlist. There's the song that we need to play. Or the folder. Actually, no, that's not the folder I wanted. This one. I'm gonna use that to play that. Bicycle. There we go. How about now? Is it loud or is it still kind of like overcoming over the voice a little bit? Can you hear me now? Hopefully it's working. Yes, everything is good now. Okay, cool. That's great. That's awesome. So, we're gonna be pretty much doing some Wi-Fi battles. Hopefully we can get some Wi-Fi battles in, and yeah. Hopefully there's not that much lag, but I'm thinking there's a lot of lag. It's probably my computer being such stupid, or it could be the fact that the weather is really messing with the internet. But I still feel like it could be my PC. PC always messes with has a lot of issues. No, it's the fan. My fan was being weird earlier. I wouldn't be surprised. Alright. Like I got Switch for Christmas, so I'm going to get Shield. Okay, cool. That's awesome that you're gonna get Shield. I just been like constantly building teams, making teams. Just don't know what to do at the further reaches and everything. I'm just waiting for people who wanna like battle. They could just come here onto the chat, say they want to battle, and we could just battle. Because I know a lot of people was asking for a battle, and now it will be. Oh no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do no surprise. Switching. Let's exchange cards into the meanwhile. We'll just exchange cards into the meanwhile. Let's see. And this is what my card looks like right now. Yeah, we're just gonna like wait until someone wants to, you know, battle. Oh. We got a trainer card. Let's see what the trainer card looks like. What's with that face? Ooh. Anyway, gonna spin here for a quick spin, Rudy. We're just gonna spin, and we're gonna keep on spinning. Do 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 do. Spin, 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 spin. Spinning in the sin. Somehow I still feel like I can't hear the, like the. You know what? That's another thing. I don't even hear the music, honestly. Yeah, you guys can hear the music, but I can't. And that's what I want to do. Properties. Let's see. Because I feel like I should be able to. Anything? Nope, I don't hear the music at all. Let's just keep it back to where it was. Huh. Yeah, that's kind of weird. I should be able to hear the audio, but that really bad. I'm not trying to deal with it. Not trying to deal with it. Not trying to deal with it. Okay. Anyway. Should I just have a random battle? I should just have a random battle, right? I guess I'll just have a random battle. You might as well just have a random battle with someone. Whatever. I don't mind it. I don't mind having random battles, 'cause they're such a random thing to do. Yeah, I'll decide for myself what type of rules we'll have, I guess we could do a singles 6 for 6 for 6. We got a good variety of team here. I'm gonna go ahead and use this one because it's a brand new team, so just gonna use that. Cause why not? All right, Lady L. Let's see what you got. I didn't even want to look at your team. Oh wait, you know what? Let's look at your team beforehand. Oh, okay, that's weird. I don't understand what the egg is for, but okay. The egg is interesting. The egg is very interesting. I wonder what she's gonna do with the egg. Lady L, what are you gonna do with the egg? Are you even gonna put the egg in there? That's interesting. That's so interesting. What's with the egg? Or are you just gonna work with 5 Pokemon? It's gonna work with 5 Pokemon. I still bring in 6. I don't mind. I don't mind bringing in the 6 Pokemon. But hey, we got a Rapidash and I'm gonna straight up go for the drill run. Fuck it. Drill run. Let's go. Oh! Okay. Okay. She's got a Dynamax on me. Oh no. Oh no. Anything but a Dynamax. Rabbit. Drill run. Nice. Good damage. Max flare. Okay. Not really kind of worried about max flare. Not that much. I'm gonna go for a horn drill. Couldn't land it. Couldn't land it. We should have been able to land it, but we didn't able to land it. That's fine. What? I'm re-listening to the song, and I used to be crying during the depression. Okay. Let's just do this. That sucks. Christian, that sucks. That really does sucks. Let's see what we could do here though. Can we land hypnosis? We didn't land hypnosis. That sucks. I wanted to land hypnosis, and we couldn't land that. Guess we just bring out this guy. Sucks that we gotta deal with all this hotness here going on. I'm gonna use Toxic Spikes. Pyro Ball, okay. Not bad. Get some damage off of me. Get the Toxic Spikes off, okay. We're gonna go for a Memento. Oh, if it doesn't kill me, but we're gonna go for the Memento. We're gonna kill our freaking Pokemon. Just to lower its stats. Right? That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do that. Because that works. Just because that just works. Then we're gonna go into our ice Pokemon here. And since this Pokemon does have physical moves, we're gonna just belly drum. So we shouldn't take any damage because it should have physical moves. But we're gonna just straight up belly drum. And I think belly drum is our best play to do this. Goes for it. Alright. Cool, cool, cool. Get no damage taken off of me. We get the broken face. Okay, cool, that's fine. We get our belly drum up, right? Do 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 do. Belly drum. We get our +6. We got a Dynamax. We're gonna. And we should be able to defend ourselves against these Pokemon. Maybe, maybe not. Max Geyser. That should definitely take it out. Nice. Alright. Cool, 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 cool. Get the rain going. Get the rain flowing. Eldegoss, okay. It's poison because there are poison spikes. So that's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Shoot, that's not the move I wanted to click. But alright, it's going down. We got the steel stuff going. Still stuff going. Yeet. Get another boost, and our defense boosts are good to go. Drop on speed. That sucks. That sucks. Sucks for us, man. We need to get our speed lowered. Do not need to get our speed lowered. I think I forgot a move on this Pokemon that I needed. What move is it? It's an ice move. I forgot an ice move. That's what I needed. I needed an ice move. I don't know why I forgot the ice move. But that's what we needed. Oh, that's fine. We're still gonna be able to pretty much one-shot 3 of these Pokemon now anyway. And we get another defense boost, just in case. You know, just in case we get into a situation where a Pokemon does outspeed us, we might be able to take a physical hit. We might be able to take a physical hit. Okay, poison. Okay, cool. Cool. That's cool. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Now, go for another. We're going to go for Iron Head. Leech Life. Okay. Shouldn't do too much damage. Nice. Go for Iron Head. Break his disguise. Get disguise. Give him a little damage from his disguise. There we go. Nice. Now you're poisoned. And I'm +6. And I got Iron Head. Physical move. We should win this no problemo. And we only needed to use 2 Pokemon for this entire match. Nice. We only needed to use 2 Pokemon for this whole entire match. I'm still trying to figure out what move I could replace for the secondary move on here. Or should I just have someone to set up ice moves? You know what? I feel like I should have a Pokemon that sets up ice, like the... No. Oh, I actually... You know what? I just remembered. Hold on. I just remembered. I know which Pokemon I should use. Hold on. I know which Pokemon I should use. Or should I use that? Shoot, I should have used Max. No, Max Gar wouldn't do it. What do I use against this Pokemon? It's a water Pokemon. I feel like I should have used the. I'm trying to think of the name, and it's like I'm just like losing thought. Let's see. Itchy. I know I should have had some Pokemon set up Snow. Or I should just go ahead and still give it Snow. I feel like I should give it Snow. uh, like some type of ice move other than Aurora Veil. I want to use Aurora Veil, so I just need another Pokemon to set it up with. We're gonna go ahead, fake out, make me use 3 Pokemon instead of using 2 of the Pokemon. And then we're just gonna go ahead and use Wood Hammer. Sniper Shot is not really gonna do anything to me, so that's good. And then Wood Hammer, nice, not bad, not bad. But I feel like everything is still lagging though, so it is what it is. We won. Yeah, I received your trainer card. Yeah. I'll play with the same rules. I don't mind battling you again. If you want to battle again. No? You don't want to battle again? Okay, it's fine. Okay, I guess we could do another Wi-Fi battle with some other random trainers. Yeah, I feel like there should be another like Pokemon that can set up ice. Or should I give it an ice physical move instead of Iron Head? I don't know. I don't know. Teehee. What kind of rules are you setting up for us today? Level 50, okay. Cool. Let's see. Let's try this guy. This one. Because I have 2 different ice Pokemon, so let's try this one though. Let's see what team this person is bringing. Oh, that's so annoying. Yay, so annoying. This person is really one of those people, yeah. I mean, I don't have to get a +6 or anything. I just need to at least set up and swap out. That's all. That's all I can do. Is set up and swap out. If I can set up and then swap out, I should be fine. Maybe. I should be fine. Possibly. If I can set up and swap out, then I'd be fine. If I can't, that sucks. It really does suck if I cannot set up and then swap out. I'm banking on sitting in and then swapping out. We're gonna lead off with a Poltergeist here. Gonna set up the drizzle. Okay, so he sets up the rain. Nice and rainy. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and... No! Wrong move. I didn't want a nasty plot. That was a wrong setup. Oh no. I was gonna go for shell armor, but I was gonna go for shell smash, but I literally messed that one up. Nasty plot. Gonna go for Hurricane. Alright, I'm in confusion too. Nice. I'm hoping to snap out and get the... I don't know if I really want to do that though. It's already clicked. I can't do anything. It's already clicked, I can't do anything. I'm just hoping on luck, you know? I'm just hoping on luck. But I feel like I already like messed up the first half of it. Feels like I already messed up the first half, so let's just see what happens. I got hit. I got hit. He goes for another hurricane. I might as well just swap out. I might as well just swap out. I might as well just swap out. You know what? Actually, I didn't think about this. I didn't think about this at all. Strength sap. Let's do that. Let's do that. I wasn't even thinking about it until now. I wasn't even thinking about it until now. Let's just use. Oh my god, he keeps hitting me. It's confusing. Ah! Ah! Come on. Come on. Step out of it. There we go. There we go. Strength sap, my dude. That's what we need. Bro, get me back to full health. Get me back to full health. I need to get back to full health. Come on, snap out of confusion and get me back to full health. There we go. There we go. There we go. Alright. Okay. Uh-huh. Can I? Why half? Sir, why you only heal me halfway? You can't just be healing me halfway. Curse Bali, thank you, Poltergeist. Jeez, I was waiting for that. But I'd rather heal. I'd rather heal and then try to set up. I'd rather heal and then try to set up. But whatever comes in is gonna get like their physical attack lowered. So just for me to heal and then be able to set up on top of that. Now he doesn't have any other type of move that might do any damaging, strong damaging towards me. Probably U-turn. Okay, I guess it. Not really anything that will like harm me in a way. Lily Colo. Okay. I'm gonna try to shell smash this time. Weather ball. Weather ball. So that's kind of like a water move. Oh no! I couldn't do anything about it. I couldn't do anything about it. That's great. That's great. So I wasn't able to set up. That's great. That's great. I wasn't able to set up. I wasn't able to set up. Oh no. We're gonna go ahead into Flapple, our green apple here. Our green apple. I want a Dragon Dance. Gonna go for an Ice Beam. Ooh-wee. Oh boy. Oh boy. I'm glad I had that berry. Oh boy. I'm glad I had that berry. So we can ice type moves, and I got enough to outspeed, but I'm pretty sure this was a swift swim anyway, and I could go for aerial, can't pronounce the name, and then get double the damage since I don't have any items anymore. And that's like definitely a one-hit KO from that range. And it's +7/+1 attack. Ooh, boy, oh boy. What's your next Pokemon? Do 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 do. What's your next Pokemon? Come on now. Got all day. They don't got all day. What's your next Pokemon, sir? What is your next Pokemon? Do 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 connection, hey, connection, hey. It is a Pelibird with the drizzle again. That's cool. You can set up drizzle. I mean, it's really nothing you could really do against me. I mean, what can I do here? I'm gonna go for a grave apple, I guess. See how much that does. Lowers the defense. Goes for the hurricane. Hurricane does pretty decent amount of damage. It does knock me out. That's great, sir. GG. GG on that one. GG. Yeah, we're gonna go into this guy. Do do do. Do do do. Do 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 do. We're going to go for a Hellstorm. A max Hellstorm. We're gonna Dynamax and go for a Hellstorm. Cause why not? I see why not. Do you see why not? I don't see why not. And the reason why I'm gonna go for that is because I need to get up ice on the field so I could get Aurora Veil. But I won't be able to get Aurora Veil until I undynamax from the thing so I could get Aurora Veil to activate. And which is stupid. But hey, it is what it is. I'm not complaining. I'm complaining. I'm complaining a lot. If I was able to get it set up the right way, I wouldn't have this issue. But hey, we got ice going in, so not bad. Not bad at all. Now we got rid of that Pelibird. Cause this seems like it was supposed to be based like a water or a rain dance team or a drizzle team, water based team. So I like to just make my Pokemon randomly. I like to make random teams. I don't like to make it, you know, weather based team. So what could this person do now? What can this person do now? Ooh. Ooh. Okay. We're gonna go for another ice move. This Pokemon can take it because it is a water slash ground type move. Water slash ground type Pokemon. So it should be able to take the hit regardless. So is he gonna guard? Does he have a max guard? Is he gonna max guard? He's gonna max. Oh, he's gonna max guard. He's gonna use a rock type move. Is that physical? It is physical. Hey, it's physical. Hey, he's gonna probably break the face, right? Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna go for another ice move, right? Hey. Right? So I could get my ice face back up. Hey. And you thought you were gonna get another physical damage onto me. Aha. 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 Because you thought that you were faster, you would have some way of doing what you're trying to do physically and then have Sandstorm up. That, that's how it is. I'm gonna get the last laugh on that one, sir. So once you do another rock, I'm gonna do another ice, and I'll still have ice face up on here. Another physical. Okay, you're gonna go for another physical move, sir. That's not how it's gonna work, sir. You're gonna get the Sandstorm up, right? Break my face, right? Oh, it didn't. It didn't bring up Sandstorm. Okay, cool. Ooh. Okay, that's cool. That's fine. Can I get Aurora Veil up though? I won't be able to get the Aurora Veil up. I don't even know why I'm thinking I could get the Aurora Veil up. I don't think can Earthquake do a lot of damage though. I don't know. It seems like Earthquake could still do a lot of damage to me though. That sucks. That sucks. If Earthquake could do a lot of damage. What are you planning? Come on. Do something. We're both down to 2 Pokemon. We're playing cat and mouse this whole entire time. What can he be planning? I can't do anything. This time he actually could land a physical move onto me and do damage. So I do get the Aurora Veil up. So I'm kinda almost get on physical, and special moves don't do that much damage on top of that. So that's awesome. Was able to get the Aurora Veil up to do that. But hey, he got the rain again. Yay! Yay for him for getting the rain up. We're gonna go for the Icicle Shard. I think we should be able to. Is that a priority move? It's not a priority. That it was. No. No, 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 no. Oh well. We're gonna bring in our Obstagoon. Our shiny Obstagoon. Looking very, very mighty with his Obstagoon ways. He's gonna use hydration, okay, liquidation, whatever. We're gonna go for the seed bomb. We're gonna just drop those seeds onto him, just like that. Just drop a load of seeds on him. It's cool. It's cool. Do 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 do. Can we do anything else? Can we do anything else? I don't know. I really don't know. Do 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 do. Can we get anything? Zero. I believe I got no chance. Do 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 do. No chance in hell. I got no chance. Oh, this Pokemon. Yeah, this Pokemon. I'm gonna go for the cross shot. I'm hoping to survive this. Not survive it. Okay, cool. Critical hit. Not bad. Cool. I'm pretty sure it's probably Choice Scarf or something. It If it's not Choice Scarf, that sucks. I'm just hoping it is. Is it this Dracofish or something like that? Let's see, what can I do? Can you use only like one thing here? You only use one move, but it's not trying to let me know exactly what's going on. Alright. It is a dragon type though. I'm gonna try to just get the dragon skills going. Maybe. Oh! He decided to swap out. Clever you, right? He's gonna get the Toxapex up, right? That's cool. Awesome. So that means I get to get, well, like at least 2 setups? Is that the case? Is that what we're going with? The ring goes away. The reveal wears off. Okay, cool. I get another setup, right? That's awesome. I get 2 setups. So I'm at +2. With all the stats and all that. +2. And then do. Heal up. Alright. Okay. He goes for toxic. Good play on his part. Good play on his part. That was a very good play. That was a very, very nice play. So now he could just use Baneful Buck or whatever. Just to like protect against all my moves. That's cool. That's cool. I'm not gonna be really too mad about that. I don't get any stats dropped anyway, but it just, all he could do is pretty much stall out my Pokemon. That's fine. That's fine. I don't mind. I'm just gonna try to do some stab whatnots and use recover. Oh no! He's gonna really stall me though. This man is really gonna stall me though. Okay. Okay. He stalled. He stalled me. He really did. That's great. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. He stalled me out. So dick move. I mean, I was planning to do the same thing with the other. Well, no. Was I really trying to plan to do the same thing with the other one? I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I was stalling though. I honestly don't think I was stalling. But it happened. It's okay. I'm not too upset. It is what it is. I don't know what to do now. I really don't. He put me in this weird, awkward situation here. And I'm pretty sure he's gonna poison me again. Yeah. Yep. Poison me again. It's cool. I guess. Nothing I could do with that. Alright. Cool. I could do this. I could just set up, I guess. Oh. I guess he won anyway because I only have 1 Pokemon. That's fine. The timer ran out, so it is what it is. I won 1, I lost 1. Hey, it happens. It happens. It happens. Does he want to play again? That's the question. That's the real question. Does he want to play again? Does this person want to play again? I have another team to use. but does he want to play again? That is the question. Does he have another team? That's the question. What could he be thinking? Do 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 do. He could be thinking a lot of things. Do 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 do. Alright. Gotta fix my mic here while I wait for him to decide on what he wants to do. Alright. So what is it? Is he gonna do anything? I'm just gonna wait here, just waiting for my opponent to tell me, is he gonna go for another round? Easy. I mean, I didn't press B or left. Is he gonna go for another round? That's all I ask. Gonna go for another round. Continue. If you're not gonna go another round, just go ahead and cancel. So now you gotta be here waiting for you to decide if you want to do anything. Come on. Come on. Come on. I really want to listen to music though. I honestly do. I kind of really truly want to listen to music. But I don't know if the audio is going to pick that up there. I don't know if the audio is really going to pick that up. Because it probably won't. But I'm not too sure. And it seems like my, what you call it, is frozen. The, what is it? The Discord is frozen for some reason because I can't do anything. That's not cool. It's not great at all. It is not great when your Discord frozen. It is not great when your Discord frozen. What can I do? How would I fix that? If your Discord is frozen. And then the person who you're trying to battle with, again, does not want to battle with you. Fine, I'll just end the communication. If you want to be a dick about it, don't know whether you want to battle or not. Jeez. Alright. Getting into another battle. That probably will be least for me. At least Alright, we found another battle with Big GW. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and do the same normal set rules. Budget, why not? Why the freaking not? We're gonna go with our new team again. Just wanna test out the new team anyway. And do that and do that and do that. Again, gotta try to somehow play music on here, even though I don't want to, because I really don't want that to interfere with something. Hold on, let me see it. Actually, there's a much better way of doing it. There's a huge, much better way of doing it. I'm just gonna lead off with Rapidash. Because I'm pretty sure he's gonna probably lead off with the Darmanitan. If not, he has these two ghost types that he can lead off with. Or at least 3 of these ghost type Pokemon that he can lead off with. And 1 poison type Pokemon just in case. Or, this is a huge or, you can lead off with his Feral Seed or Feral Tor, whatever you call that Pokemon. Whatever. I'm just trying to see if I can land a Horn attack. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm just gonna be big and ballsy and then try to see if I can land a horn attack. And if I can land a horn attack, that's awesome. Like if luck is on my side, I could probably land a horn attack. Ah, see, I know he's gonna run that Duramaka. Okay, cool. I protected. We're gonna just go ahead and horn drill. I mean, horn. Is it horn drill? Hornet? Yeah, horn drill. Just gonna horn drill. Hopefully, if anything, I survive this. I do not survive it. I do not survive it. Alright. Okay. Well. What can I do? Oh. Yeah, should I just go into this guy? I should go into this guy, huh? Right? Because I could just, what, like, belly drop, I guess? I mean, is he choice scarf? Is his Daramaka a choice scarf or not choice scarf? Like, oh, he's got a Dynamax. Okay, he's got a Dynamax. Okay, I'm hoping in you to set up ice, or I don't know, set up the hell or whatever, because then I could be like, cool, because I could just always get, oh, no, max flare. Okay. Is that a physical? He got a physical max flare? Huh. Interesting. A max fire type move. Physical max fire type move. Interesting. But that also led me to believe that he could be Choice Scarf. Is he Choice Scarf? Is he Choice Scarf? I want to know if he's Choice Scarf or not. That's so stupid. He should like at least let you know if it's Choice Scarf or not. I believe he's Choice Scarf. Oh no, he's not. He's not. He's not. He's not. Ha ha! Suck that! Take that, bitch! You ain't Choice shit! Fuck your fucking Duramaka, fucking trap. I'm sorry. I'm getting a little bit too hype on that one. Like, my face break, and then, I literally thought he had like a Choice Scarf Duramaka. That's fucking insane. What is up with that? Okay. Well, shit. Okay. You know what? I want to go for Dynamax as well, because fuck it, yo. And I'm gonna go for a max water geyser thing, and then because I'm pretty sure he might go for like King Shield, I could just break through his King Shield. Yeah, we're gonna do that. We're just gonna break through his King Shield. Oh, he's not even gonna go for that. Oh well, I just Dynamax. I'm just gonna go straight for it. I didn't do as much, but I don't know what he could do. He could go and what, like set up Flash Cannon. Oh yeah, he could go for the Steel move. Shoot. He could go for this Steel. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yep, that makes sense. Okay. I'm such an idiot. I just wasted that move. Ha 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 ha. We're gonna taunt. We're gonna taunt. We're really gonna taunt. We're gonna taunt. We're gonna taunt. Taunting. Because, yes, he gets to use that move first. But, since we're gonna taunt, he can't use King Shield anymore. So no longer using King Shield. He can't use King Shield anymore. So knowing the fact that you just did that, you won't be able to use King Shield ever again. Ever again. Can't use King Shield anymore. I feel like I shouldn't have went for the move that I went. But if I could land the move, that's a plus. If we could land a Hypnosis, that's a plus. Can we do it? I believe in my Gengar that we could do this. Okay, he switches out, goes into Toxapex. Can we still land the Hypnosis? My boy Gengar, landing these moves. Let's go. Let's go. We're gonna still taunt the Toxapex just because. Just because. Cause we don't know if it's gonna wake up and try to use Baneful Buck. You know, we're not trying to deal with that. We're not trying to deal with that nonsense. We're gonna go for the hacks. And since it's asleep, that does double damage. Ooh, it wakes up, goes for an Ice Beam. That sucks. Disgusting. Well, that's really disgusting. That's fine. We got Blood Sludge though. We're chilling, bro. We're chilling, bro. We're chilling. We're gonna go for another Hacks. He can't really do anything. I taunted him, so he won't be able to do Baneful Booker. So we're good. We're good. We're a savage. We're good. We're good. We're a savage. He can't do anything. He can't go for Baneful Bucker or Recovery. He's put into a position that he can't use any of those moves against me because we taunted him. He'll have to withdraw. I said withdrawal. Stupid. He goes into Mimikyu. Okay. Oh, we break his disguise. So that's a good thing. That's a plus. We break his disguise. That's a plus. Shoot. Now that I'm thinking about it, and I'm gradually thinking about it, he could Swords Dance, but I could go for a taunt. That would be a good thing. Just in case he tried to Swords Dance on me. He goes for the Shadow Claw. Shadow Claw. Took me down to 1 HP, but it brought me back to 9. I'm hoping that he does not have Shadow Sneak. I'm just hoping he does not have Shadow Sneak. He does have Shadow Sneak. Fuck. I was trying to. Okay, so he can't use Shadow Sneak. That sucks. Because I was gonna hope that wasn't gonna happen. I was gonna really hope that wasn't gonna be the cause and effect. Shoot. What can I do from here now? Damn. Alright. I guess I go into my Draco Fish, I guess. Dish. I can't really do anything. I mean, I wish I had a more set to this Pokemon. Dragon. Okay. He's gonna use a fairy type move against me. That's cool. Make me want to put Choice Band on this Pokemon. That nonsense. No, he's able to get a Sword Stance, or does he want to use Sword Stance? He could use Sword Stance, but he's not gonna use Sword Stance. I brought out this fish. What can I do now? I'm out of a loss for Pokemon right now. Am I faster? I'm faster. Yeah, I am faster. Shadow Claw, no, I'm not faster. I thought I was. But hey, I had a berry. So, haha, your ghost type moves wouldn't have this shit. Kudos to me. Shoot. Shoot. What can I do? I could lead off stealth rods, but I don't know how that's gonna help me at all. Like I could drop some stealth rocks off, but I don't know how that's gonna help me. I don't know how that's gonna help me. While he's trying to heal back up with his HP. I don't know. Shadow Claw again. He's probably gonna try to get me to the point where I'm gonna just be able to get KO'd. Ah! But I took him out. Yay. Yay me. Yay me. What can I do now? I'm at a stalemate. I only have 2 Pokemon left. I'm about to have only 1 Pokemon left. It is the dragon Pokemon of all dragon Pokemon. Yay! Of all dragon Pokemon, this would be the dragon Pokemon that he sends out. And I'm gonna get... Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Cool. I was gonna use Memento and then lower his attack stat, but hey, it's cool. Okay, it's cool. Yeah, we're gonna use Rabumbi. That means I can't use Fake Out, so that sucks. I was gonna lead off a Fake Out, but I can't even use that. I can't even use any of my moves until a special move hits me. He's gonna go for a physical move. He's not gonna even go for special. Dude's a dick. He doesn't even need to outspeed me with that. His dragon just approves the fact that he didn't need to do that to outspeed me. Like, come on. And you get a U-turn? You trash. You get a U-turn. You trash. Just to learn a physical move, you trash. The man's trash. The man is trash. I have a salt face Pokemon and you wanna do something as idiotic as that. Iron bars, yay! I'm down to 13 HP. Yay! And I can't leech slide. Yay! Because I'm a salt fest. Yay! Boom burst. Not that much damage though. You get a curse. Great! Do you get Baton Pass too? Let me know if you get Baton Pass too. I can't do anything. I really cannot do anything. He's gonna just... Is he really gonna just curse up? What an irritating little fucker. Like, just... Now he's wasting time. He's wasting time. I only have 1 Pokemon and he's just playing around with me. I only have his 1 Pokemon. What is your problem? What a dick. I don't do that shit. I don't just do that. I don't do that. You're being an asshole. Guy was being an asshole. You know what? I'm not even gonna get your trainer card. You're being an asshole. Being straight up an asshole. Big WG, you're being an asshole. But that bullshit that you're playing, you're being an asshole. You know damn well I wasn't gonna be able to win. You should have just killed me when you had the chance, but you didn't. You sucked. He sucked. What a real dick. What a real dick. I hate people like that. What a real dick. Okay. Get our next match. Okay, okay. Let's see what we got here. We get to decide the match. Okay, we're gonna go for another 6 normal set. We're gonna go ahead and still use the new team, cause why the fuck not? Why the fuck not? We're gonna use the same motherfucking team. Why the fuck not? I know I have some music here though. And then let's see what this music that we have. Oh, wow! I just backed out. Ha ha ha. Let's see what the dude has. Okay. It's it's semi depressing when I look at it, but we're gonna go with it. I'm pretty sure this person is gonna still be able to beat me with the team that he has. So that really just not in my favor right now. It's really not in my favor right now. I'm gonna play. Let's see. I'm gonna play this. Yeah, we're gonna play this song since I can't hear it. We're gonna just play that. Okay. We got some moves that are gonna be very instrumental to me. I'm gonna source dance. He's gonna U-turn. That's fine. I get a free source dance. That's fine. I mean, that's fine. I get a free source dance. He now know that I'm physical, so I get a free source dance. I'm just trying to figure out, should I just swap out? I feel like I should swap out, but I'm not. I'm gonna try to go for this horn drill. Can I land the horn drill? He avoided the attack. That dick. That dick. He avoided the attack. How dare they? Okay. What a dick. He literally just said, "Oh, you know what? Fuck that. I'm out." How do I deal with that particular Pokemon though? He goes for the bulk up. Okay. So now he's +1 and whatnot. Okay. That's cool. That's fine. He might have a flying type move, so that gradually sucks. I'm gonna go for a fake out. That should get rid of his sub. No, it didn't get rid of his sub. Okay, cool. That's cool. Didn't get rid of his stuff. That's fine. And now he's +2. Fuck. I'm fucked. I'm fucked. Now you can use like +2 physical move. And damn it. I have Thought Fest though. Such an annoying move. It's such a annoying ability, no item that I have. Okay, is he gonna attack me with Brave Bird? Okay, cool. Cool. I wasn't thinking about substitute and then doing that at all. Great, awesome. GG! He pulled a smart one on me. He put a smart one on me. He pulled a smart one on me. He played me like a fool. That's all I can say. He played me like a fool. We're gonna go ahead, summon our nice icy little baby here. We're just gonna go ahead, belly drum, because he could go for the Iron Head. That's a physical move. It breaks my freaking face, but his little boo boo boo. We get a +6. Nicely done. I don't know how I'm gonna deal with this Pokemon because I get a free max guard, I guess. Since I can't really do anything and I can't get the ice up on top of that. And this thing is faster than me, so I really can't do anything. But I know he's gonna physically go for an attack. Yeah. And he's gonna heal. Yay! Yay! The Pokemon that I was not expecting to deal with, I gotta deal with. I could break the sub with a +6. But he got that Iron Head +2. And that Iron Head +2 is gonna do damage. And I hate the fact that ice Pokemon are like super weak against steel. So it's kinda frustrating. It's frustrating. It's very, very frustrating. Go back into Rapidash, I guess. Yeah, I know. He got moves that could pretty much take you out. I understand that. Oh my gosh! I just need you to land a... Oh my gosh. Rapidash, what is wrong with you? You just missing left or right with your stupid moves. I just need you to land an iron horn drill. I just need you to land a horn drill. That's all I needed you to do. To land a measly horn drill. And you would have been set. You would have been set. Alright. Just gonna throw some toxic stuff there. Some toxic spikes there. Really nothing I could do from here. It's set up. Set up nothing. Basically. Because he could just go through shit. Yeah. Be protected and whatnot. And then go for another Boko. Yay! Yay! Yay for him. This is another person who's gonna play me like a fool, apparently. Yay! Oh, I can't use that move? Wow! What? Wow! I wanna go for Memento and I can't even use Memento. I want to use Memento, like, I can't even do that. Ah, this is irritating. This is very irritating. Very irritating indeed. Get spikes. Spikes is a thing. Brave Bird, okay. Couldn't do anything. Couldn't do anything. Now I gotta like look at like sets and then try to figure out what can I do. Because none of my moves will work. Oh. Oh. Okay. That's cool. It's not gonna help me, but that's cool. I'm already gonna get one-shotted anyway. That's dirty. That's grimy. And yeah, we're gonna lose this match. Alright. This is my second loss. Yay. That's great. It's good to get a second loss. It is always good to get a second loss, you know. Oh, we landed hypnosis. Yay. Awesome. Woo. It's always good to land a hypnosis, huh? Awesome. But is our hypnosis gonna allow us to get a W? Probably not. Even if we get double damage, even if it's, you know, stab double damage. Oh, never mind. We're good. All right. Okay. Let's go. We're with our Gengar. We're one Pokemon down with our Gengar, and it's gonna just hurt us the most dealing with this Pokemon. Oh, you're poison. Yo, let's go. And you're a ghost type, and you're gonna get the stab, and you're gonna go for Phantom Force. Oh, you son of a nun-nun. You son of a nun-nun. Heck should just go through that. It's a ghost type move. It should just go through that. I don't understand why it doesn't go through that. I can't do anything. I can't protect. Is it gonna one-shot me? It does one-shot me. That's fine. I lost fair and square. At least I didn't have the same situation with that last match, because that last match was freaking dumb as hell, and the dude was just trying to play me. And I'm like, nah, I can't just be playing people like that. Can't be playing people, man. Can't do that. It's not right. Do you want to battle again? No, you don't want to battle again? Okay. You want to be that way? You can be that way. Let's get into another battle. I guess I haven't used my one team though. I'm surprised. You know what? I'm just gonna put in like the best 3 of 3s and not put it in a 6v6 type situation. I really don't want to deal with that. I really don't want to be in a situation dealing with 6v6 stuff. I just want to do 3v3s. So this match here that I'm about to decide is gonna be a 3v3. So there we go. So you can't choose Pokemon that have the same items. Anyway, I'm getting a little bit too overexcited for that one. Let's go ahead and go into the battle. I am done. Select your team, my boy. If you don't have double items on your Pokemon, please tell me you don't have double items on your Pokemon. There we go. Alright, cool. Let's see what goes down in this particular matchup. Let's see what his team looking like. Ooh, okay. Decent team here. Decent team here. We're gonna select our Gigantamax Gengar. Tell you the truth, we're just gonna add that at the end. So we're gonna go for a 3v3. Yeah, 3v3. Let's do this. Woo! Let's see what this person has in store for us for our 3v3 match. Ooh, okay, okay. I see you. We're gonna send out our lovely Rapidash, and we're gonna try to see if we can get a horn drill. Horn drill? Why? Just land the horn drill. Land the horn drill. Rapidash, land the horn drill. You get sucker punched. Land the horn drill. There we go. That's all. Wait, it's 38. Doesn't it not set it to level 50? That should just be. It should. Everything should be set to level 50, right? That's cap, right? Everything should be set to level 50. Why is her shit not set to level 50? That makes no sense. It should set her stuff to level 50. That makes no sense. No cap. There's no cap on here. There's no level 50 cap on here. What? What is this? I'm glad I'm just messing around, but seriously, there's no like level cap. There's no cap on here. So hey guys, if you ever want to just use your low weaker monsters, or your low level Pokemon, just to let you know, it won't set it to level 50 if you have set rules for level 50. That doesn't make sense. Yeah, that just doesn't make sense that it won't cap it as level 50. It won't just set it as level 50. Rambu, beans. You got beans? Beans with beans? Beans on a bean bag? Beans? Oh, avoided the attack. Being charge. Okay. Get that speed boost. Nice. This is really not a fair match. I was kind of shocked that this person only had like level 30 Pokemon. I'm assuming this person was not expecting to fight people who were like over the level, or expecting it should set all the Pokemon to level 50, because I think that should have been a level cap right there. It's not a level cap there. Does this person not have level caps on their team? They're gonna go against me. I just feel like this person should have freaking, what you call it, some type of cap. It's unfortunate. How is it unfortunate? It is unfortunate. It really is unfortunate, Shiny. It's really unfortunate that this person literally has no level 50 Pokemon, because it says all level 50, so everything should just be graded down to level 50, but she doesn't have level 50 mons? What? How do you not have level 50 mons? Why is the... Oh, did it say communication end? Wow, she ended the communication. Dude, that's really is unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. Anyway, we're just gonna try to get in another battle, I guess. I guess I just won by default. I feel like that whole entire match was like a 1 by default, because what the hell? Wait, why? What's going on? Am I just like not getting a matchup? Like, hello? Two people just... That was this. Okay. First it seemed like she was gonna go for another battle, and then next you know she canceled it. Then this person comes in and then he canceled. Why? If you're trying to just battle with your friends, you just set up a link code so you could just battle with your friends and you wouldn't be in this situation. Oh my gosh, guys. It's not that hard to set up the thing link code. Oh, Antonio. Let's go, Antonio. Let's see what you got, Antonio. We're gonna go ahead and set up for the rules here. Yeah. Alright, I guess we're just gonna go ahead and bring this team back out again, and hopefully my rapid dash will possibly, I don't know, should I even use rapid dash? Let's just see what his team looks like, and if his team looking like maybe a possible rapid dash is worthy to be in it, then I'll use that. If it's not, it's not. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, rapid dash is not good for this matchup. We're gonna lead off with our ice cube guy here. Our ice cube guy here. And actually, take you back. We're gonna withdraw you. We're gonna bring in we're gonna bring in Regigigas here, or we're gonna Runagigas, and then Ice Cube guy, and then our Gengar. Yeah, that looks correct, right? I think we might win this. There's a hypothetical chance we might not, but if we do, we do. Because we gotta do the do we gotta do, you know? We gotta do the do. Trying to figure out what I'm gonna, because I want to set up like pit spikes on his side. It's a Teleon. Interesting. Okay, so I don't think he really got anything that can really harm my Runagigas, so we're gonna just set up. It's gonna go for a Hydro Pump. Haha! Avoided the move. Yeah. GG on that one, sir. GG on that one. We're gonna, our Runagigas is gonna go for Stealth Rocks now. Oh, well, he does have a move. Water moves. I forgot about water moves. I forgot I'm a ground ghost type. Stupid me. Stupid me. I forgot all about that. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Okay. Enough of my silliness. Yeah, we're gonna go into Gengar. And we're just gonna go for a we're gonna go for a Gigantamax Gengar. And that's how we're gonna do this today. Gigantamax Gengar. Shiny Gigantamax Gengar. Oh. Shiny Gigantamax Gengar in this beach. What's up, Atelion? Can you do anything against this? I don't think so. Oh, you could do something. I mean, you could do something. I get a special attack boost. Yeet goes for a Hydro Pump. Hydro Pump almost. It almost got me. It almost got me, guys. It almost got me. I'm gonna go for another Max Ooze, and then that should take out the Atelion. Nice. Alright, we're doubled on that special attack boost. Nice. We could get +3. We could get +3, guys. We don't outspeed, but we could get +3, guys. Alright. And then we also have subset. We also have like toxic. I think we have toxic set up here. Or yes. Do we outspeed? We should be able to outspeed. We're gonna go for Max Terror. Actually, we're gonna go for Max Terror. Yeah. Max Terror should be able to one-shot this thing. Yeah. I think this is a match that we're gonna win, guys. This is the match that we're going to win, guys. We're Gucci on this one now. And we're getting a little bit of heal back up from Black Sludge too. So we're good. We're Gucci. And you get to see my Max Gengar, my Max G Gengar in its glory before it dissipates. Alright. Cool. Cool. Shoot. I wanna go for Hypnosis. It's just, can we land the Hypnosis? That's what I want to know. Can we land a Hypnosis? on his. I'm assuming this is a Gigantamax Cover Knight. Can we land a hypnosis on a Gigantamax Cover Knight? Oh, the voice they move. Okay. So it is a G-Max Cover Knight. Okay. So he does get the speed boost. That gradually sucks for us. Because when I don't have any ice moves, I'm pretty sure he does have a steel type move. So we could get a belly drum off, but there's really nothing we could do. You know, once he breaks the once he breaks the you know the face, there's really nothing we could do. We can't outspeed it, which is gradually sucks for us. It gradually sucks for us. Now we can't do anything against it. I wish this thing gets extreme speed. That would have been dope. That would have been dope if we could get extreme speed. Oh, we're still faster, but we can't do anything. Why? Why make this an effective move and we still can't do damage? Why can't we one-shot that? That even if he did have +1, that's so stupid. That's so stupid. Alright, GG dude. You won that match. Alright. We'll accept your card. You did the damn thing. You did the damn thing. You wanna play again? Like, let me know you wanna play again. Like, cause it seems like you're the only one who could do some worthy opponent. Seems like you're the worthy opponent here. Antonio's just deciding the rules today. I guess that's how that's gonna go. So he's gonna select up a 6B team. Okay, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. What is he gonna use against me? That he's gonna put a 6-week team here. What is this team looking like? Hold on. What is this team looking like? Oh, it's the same team? Okay. Shoot. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I want to lead off with my fighting type Pokemon. That's all I can do. And I can outspeed all his Pokemon once I set up. And if he does hit me down to my Focus Sash, that's again I'm able to outspeed because of no retreat. So this might be a questionable thing. Hydro Pump, okay. Does that one-shot me to my Focus Slash? It does not one-shot me to my Focus Slash. Huh, so I got a little bit of HP. I'm still able to get the plus stuff up. And I can't retreat. I'm a faster. I'm going for a stab close combat. One shot. Again! I just need an ice type move. I feel like I just need a physical ice type move instead of the water move that I have for that ice Pokemon. That's probably it. Yay, Boltol. Or I'm gonna call it Bolt. It's Bolt. He's faster? What? How are you faster? I'm +1. How are you faster? What are you, Choice Scarf or something? No, don't tell me this man is Choice Scarf. There's no way he's Choice Scarf. You gotta be kidding me. Okay. What can I use? I could use. Wait, what move did he use? Shoot. Shoot. I don't know what to do. I forgot what move he used. I forgot what move did he use. I intimidated his attack though. What move did he use? Can I not see what a move that he just used? Are you telling me I can't see what the move that he just used against me? Are you completely you shitting me, right? You're shitting me. Okay. Apparently I can't know what move he used. Great. I'm gonna go for a Dragon Dance. He goes for Wild Charge. I do have that. I am able to get a speed boost and a physical attack boost. I think I got this, guys. I think I got this. I weakened his electric type move against me, so he wasn't able to one-shot me. So I should be able to. I'm not able to survive the second hit. Okay. I thought I should have been able to outspeed. What the hell? Like, you gotta be kidding me, man. Shoot. You know what? I want to bring in Godzilla. Just because. Because he's gonna fear for the earthquake. And that will give me like a Dragon Net set up on him. And he knows electric type moves wouldn't do as much damage against me anyway. But if you just want to chip away at me, he can chip away. Oh, he got play rough. No. He got play rough. But I get the setup boost, and I get Dragon Dance setup too, and then I get another plus. I'm +2, bro. Wait, how much does that do? Wait, where am I with that? I'm plus what? I'm +3? I'm +3. Dude, that's dope. That's dope. Okay. So since I'm +3, I know he can't outspeed. I can't outspeed him, but I'm gonna go for a Dynamax, and I'm gonna go for a Max Knuckle, so I can at least get +4. And once I get +4, I'm able to just take anything out with a +4. So that's how I'm gonna do this. Let's get a play rough. Play rough is not gonna do anything. And get Max Knuckles. So now we're at +4. Yeah. And I think if I plus Knuckle 2 more times, I'm like literally gonna be at +6. So then I will have a +6 Knuckle. Ooh, +6 Tyranitar, bro. That. Well, depending on the next Pokemon that he chooses, that's where we're gonna have to like really like figure out. Yeah. All right. Great. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and still do it. We're gonna still try to see if we can get +6 off of it. I mean, it's not stab plus Knuckle, and he does. Damn. I feel like I should have went for the rock move. But again, we're like plus, so we're in a good amount of stab, but he can still go for a steel type move, and steel type moves are super effective. So I mean, we're at +4. That just put it at +5. He goes for the steel move. Would it one-shot me? It would one-shot me. Okay, cool. Great. I was like, oh, we got a +6, this and that, and then that just happened. Alright, cool. It's cool. It's all good. It's all good, buddy. It's all good. Guess that's what happens with that. Okay, that's cool. Do I just go in Cinderace? I should go into Cinderace. Cinderace outspeeds this, right? I'm pretty sure Cinderace outspeeds this. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Cinderace outspeed it, right? Ah, not enough to one-shot it though. Dang. Well, that +1 speed really. It didn't get a speed boost. Did it? It did not get a speed boost. Wow. That's wild. It didn't get a speed boost. No way. It used max and it didn't get speed boost. What? What is this? What is this? Okay, so the next move I do will kill my Cinderace. Dang, that sucks. Or if you have the Pokemon that can outspeed the Cinderace, we'll be able to literally like, oh, like this Pokemon. I think this Pokemon also has a priority move that could just like basically do that, and he would just outspeed me. Oh no! Double kick! Double kick! That's a one shot. Go ahead, Cinderace. You did your thing. You did your thing, Cinderace. Let's go. You died for the right cause of right reasons. For the right cause and the right reasons, you pretty much ended everything. Shoot, I don't know who I should put in. I should just bring in my painkiller, I guess. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this because he got that dreamp on. That dreampy dreamp. Let's see what we can do. Oh shoot, we can't do shit. I'm gonna have to switch out. Can't do shit. No, know what? I'd rather do it when he gets the speed boost or any special anything. Because if he knows I have the Ditto in the back, he might as well try to get a boost off of me. He should just get a boost. He should just get a boost. He doesn't even want to try to get a boost. If he knows if he gets a boost, it'll be over. That's the reason why he's not gonna do it. Because if he gets a boost, he knows it's gonna be over. Oh, avoided the attack, dude. That's the luck there. That's the luck there. We're getting something. We're getting something. Can I get a poison? Yes. What? Poison? You should have just boosted. Why you didn't boost? Oh no, Painkiller. You did such great work, Painkiller. You did such great work, Painkiller. Now I get to see if you have an actual boosted freaking boosting move on this Pokemon, I guess. We're gonna go into our Ditto and we're gonna do a Imposter and see how much speed you have and if you have any. You do have Dragon Dance. Bro. You had Dragon Dance. Bro. I'm not gonna use Dragon Dance though. The reason why I'm not gonna use Dragon Dance is because I'm Choice Scarf, so I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. But hey, we got that nicely done. I mean, again, should have just speed boosted. I don't send. Oh. Okay, Cinder Scorch. Okay, you're gonna be one of the most difficult, probably one of the most difficult Pokemon to deal with. Maybe not. Crunch. Okay. Okay. I'm faster though. I still get you though. Let's go. I won this match, sir. I won this match. what is this, like the the match of a upset, you could say, the match of an upset. Because I lost the other match and then I won this match. Thanks a lot, Antonio. Thanks a lot, Antonio. You thought you had me, Antonio. Thought you had me. Thought you had me. Actually, I think that was a good match. I'm not gonna use any of these Pokemon in that matchup against him again. We're gonna go for another match, and I think this will be like the final match of matches. I'm just trying to figure out what member to use for that match. Again, depending on what it looks like for me. Okay, so I'm on with the same little logo. Okay, cool. That's not bad. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. All right. See, I want something that would like allow you to like use Battle Spot and then what you call it, and then remove Dynamaxing instead of just G maxing. You could just really get rid of Dynamaxing. Oh, hello, Lantern. He just like pops in and then probably pops out. But hello, Lantern. How you been? How you doing? It's gonna get me into a freaking crazy match. Don't know what I'm gonna get myself into. Hopefully, it's not gonna be the bad thing. Hopefully, it's not gonna be the worst thing. Let's see what we do. Let's see what can we do. Let's see how this match is going to go. Oh shit. That's how the match is gonna go. Oh shit. But it is a 3v3. But it's gonna go to shit. Because I'm gonna use a Choice Specs freaking Togekiss, and I'm pretty sure Togekiss can't outspeed these guys. So should I Dynamax and then try to get speed boosted? But if I Dynamax and get speed boosted, what move can I really do? Oh, try 60. Okay, cool. He pretty much danced around the Pokemon that I know I was gonna. Okay, cool, awesome. I can't really do anything now. Just because of that, I can't do anything right now. Okay, I mean, I could always choice Specs, but I just don't outspeed this Pokemon. Do I really just don't outspeed this Pokemon? Okay. Shoot, I don't know if he's. What the heck is going on? Sorry guys, something is happening on, and I don't know. We're just gonna go for the Air Slash. We do not outspeed. Okay, we're not slower, but we do get the flinch. We're not slower, and we do get the flinch, so that's a plus. That's a plus for us. That is a plus for us. Turn off slow mode. It's not slow mode, it's just the fact that I think something's off of my computer. That's why it's running so slow, basically. So that's why I'm been trying to figure out what's going on. And then I think my CPU is just not going smoothly right now. So sometimes I'll pick up and go fast, and then I'll slow back down for some reason. So it is what it is. I I feel like he might gonna go for the what you call it? We're gonna Dynamax because I believe he's gonna go for his own Dynamax or his G Max, so he doesn't get flinched. That's how I feel about this. Since I probably sure know what he's gonna do, we're just gonna go for our thing and try to get a Dynamax off. Yep. Because I'm pretty sure I knew that was gonna be coming my way, where he's just gonna Dynamax, and then pretty much try to not get flinched. So I just Dynamax myself, so I know I'll be able to take on his Charizard with a max Rockfall. It should one shot. There we go. Awesome. GG. No, your chat is slow mode. People can't text because they have to wait 5 minutes to send another text. Wait, what? There. I took it off. Now you're good. Alright. Anyway. Yes. Okay. So now this person sends out Gudra. We still outspeed Gudra. What? I want to go ahead and try to get some. Oh, he canceled. He already lost. He already lost. He just lost like that. Alright, cool. We won. Why was it on it in the first place? Because the last time I had so many people on my stream, that's why I kind of put it on there. And it always been like that ever since then. And it never been taken off. Well, this person just doesn't want to go into another match with me. He just said end the... Anyway, I feel like we should go for one more match. I know I was gonna end the match there and that's it, and that was gonna be like the last match, but we should just go for one more match. But yeah, the reason why I had it on slow mode to begin with is just because I had more people on the channel that was kind of like going through the chats, and I was just like trying to keep up and see what was going on in the chat area. That's why. Let's see. Okay. So yeah, this is gonna be our last match, the final last match of all matches, because oh my eye. Yeah, this is gonna be our last match, the last match for the matches of today. I am gonna still stream, but I'm gonna be getting on Call of Duty. At least the stream will be a little bit better for me, at least. Okay, this is a very interesting team we got here. Yeah, that's how that's gonna work, basically. You know what? Actually, I like how I did the last match, so I'm gonna leave it off with Geek, the Runegius, and my Gengar. Should I? Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it like that. Okay, good. So we should be good. But yeah, this is gonna be the last match that we're gonna have, and then I'm gonna be streaming Call of Duty. Alright, let's see how this is gonna go. Might bring back a little cup, you know? I feel like bringing back Little Cup, and I'd be doing Little Cup battles. And I'm just gonna be sending out requests on the aminos, and then be like, Little Cup, anybody trying to do Little Cups? I know you guys been breeding. Anybody want to do Little Cups? Oh, he withdraws. Okay. Okay. I see you with the withdrawals. You're gonna throw out the rocks. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. We're gonna also... You're gonna set up rain. Okay. Okay. I'm also gonna set up toxic spikes. I believe you're like storm drain or something like that. You know what? We're gonna do this. We're gonna be bold. We're gonna do something that normally we won't do. We're gonna lower your stats. Your physical attack stat and your special attack stat. We're just gonna drop that. Hello, Hector. How are you doing? Let's see. What else can we do here? Since you're a special attacker, we're gonna go into our special Gengar. Great, nice. We're gonna go for the Hypnosis. See if our Gengar can lend the Hypnosis. How was your Christmas? That's what I want to know. How was everybody's Christmas, actually? Mine was kind of a little bit eh. And then realizing King Nappy is, I guess, back on Twitch streaming too, on top of that. So it's kind of weird. Well, we got the Hypnosis off of Boomer. So that's cool, that's cool, that's cool. We got the Hypnosis off of Boomer. We're chilling. We're gonna go ahead and Dynamax ourselves. We're gonna try to get for like a special attack boost, and then so we can at least get two special attack boosts. I know that our Hex is gonna wear off. I mean, the sleep is gonna wear off soon. I'm hoping sleep does not wear off. I'm hoping it still stay asleep while we go through the attacks. I do not need this to wake up on turn 1. I don't need this to wake up on turn 2. So I'm hoping for it to stay asleep. Please. Just stay asleep. That's all I needed to do for this Pokemon to do, is to stay asleep, so we can at least get +2 special attacks up, and be able to go for a... darn. Okay. So we're only able to get 1 special attack boost. And the way it looks like, this person is not gonna try to allow me to get another boost. No, it can't even allow me to. I can still get another boost. Haha, you suck. We could get another boost and then try to go for a ghost type move, I guess. But this thing can earthquake me, or earth power. Earth power is not gonna do that much. I just realized, because the reason why earth power is not gonna do that much is because I already lowered his attack for that first round. So, or lowered his special attack for that first round. So we're good. We're Gucci, and we got a +2 special attack. Nice. So we can Hex and deal a good amount of damage to knock it out. Nice. Awesome. GG on that person for letting me set up the way I set up. And we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good, bros. We're good. Alright. We might be able to win this match. We might be able to win this match. Okay, it's Corviknight. Your favorite Pokemon. Corv. We're gonna try to get a hypnosis off. Well, hopefully we could get a hypnosis off. Hopefully. Yes, we are able to get a hypnosis off. My boy Gengar is good to just be like hypnosing things, getting things to sleep. And we're good. We're good. Can I play? Sure. You could play. I guess we could do that. We could get one more match in, even though I just said we're gonna end the match with this. But yeah, we could get one more match in. Oh my god, Brave Bird, no! Cursed body though. Alright. So now we don't have to worry about any Brave Bird shenanigans. I guess that's a thing now. We don't have to worry about Brave Bird. But what other physical moves could this Pokemon have against me? We go Belly Drum. Goes for Iron Hit, the physical move Iron Hit. I forgot about the physical move Iron Hit. Breaking my face does allow me to get a speed boost, so to speak. So I am faster, but I don't have a stab move, and this thing did not get a defense boost, so I should be able to take it out. Nice. Yay. Alright. Yeah. But I'm guessing Hector is not back on here on the stream. I don't know if he's going to stay on here during the stream to hear the saying that I'm going to end the stream. Alright. I guess I'm still in the position to end the stream here. I don't know if Hector is getting back online to actually so he could get that confirmed. But like I said, this is the last match, and I'm planning on... Oh, you're still here? Okay, cool. So I guess we could still get the match then. Alright, nice. Alright. We won that match. Nice. Alright. So again, we're gonna go ahead and grab that trainer card. Alright, cool. Oh, no. Cancel. Thank you. And that communication. Thank you. Alright, Hector. Okay, let's get into this matchup. I'm gonna set up the link battle here. Code. It's gonna be 4, 5, and a 6 and 0. So remember that code right there, so we could get that battle link going. Got it? Got the link code 4560. 4560. That is the link battle code. You basically, all you have to do is click the plus for the link code, click in the link code, put in the link code, and then press single battle, and then there you go. Then you have a lock onto that particular thing, yada, and then we just wait for the searching, right? Oh no, wait, hold up, no, never mind, hold up. I freaking, okay, hold up. I don't know if that's you. Is that you, or is that not you? Let me know if that's you or not you, because I don't know if I did it right when I was going in there. It's me? Okay, cool. I just can't. Why did I do that? Okay, we're gonna do this again. Because I literally messed up when I did that. Okay. They're gonna do this again because I messed up. Because that was correct. Alright. This time, we're good. We're good. We'll send the thing again. Alright. Gonna go back into it. Alright. There we go. Nice, nice, nice. Bada boom, boom. Bada bing, bada boom, bada boom. 3v3s. Da 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 da. Bang bang bada boom. Bing bing bada boom. Let's see, what team should I even go into? Mana 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 mana. Banana banana. Let's go in this. Oh yeah. We're good. We're good. We're good to go. Good to go. Good to go. Alright, let's see what we got here. Let's see what you got. Oh, you got some legendaries here. That's not cool, man. Bringing legendaries to this type of matchup. It's not cool, man. It's not cool at all. It's not cool at all, man. You're gonna be just bringing in legendaries like that, man. I don't like that. It's not fair, man. It's not fair when you bring legendaries to a match like this. Especially if it's a 3v3. Can't be just bringing in legendary Pokemon like that, man. Can't just be bringing in legendary Pokemon. It's that cool, man. It's like, if I don't have a team with legendaries, why are you bringing a team with legendaries? Why are you bringing a team with legendaries? If I don't have a team of legendaries, why are you bringing a team of legendaries? That makes no sense, sir. No sense. Brutal swing. Curse body though. Get our shell smash. Shell smash. Get all our boosties. Nicey, yum boosties. We're gonna go for the strength sap. Get a little healing done. You know, we just gotta get a little bit of healing done. And then lower the physical attack there. Yeah. Drill run. Huh. Interesting move, sir. Very interesting move indeed. Very, very interesting move indeed. I was not expecting that at all. That was a very interesting move, sir. Very, very, very unique. Very unique indeed. Goes for another drill run. Okay. Okay, I see you. You're really trying to take out my Celesteed. No, you cannot take out my Celesteed. No. I'm gonna get my health back up. I'm gonna lower your attack by, what, like 3? Alright. Gonna go for it. Okay. I see what you did there. Got me in this quicksand. Okay. Alright. You know what? I'm gonna double up. This shouldn't take me out, but I am gonna double up. Turtle swing. That hurts. That hurts indeed. And then we're gonna get all that sand. Oh, that really hurts. That really hurts. But we're gonna heal. We're gonna heal, guys. We're gonna heal. And we're gonna lower his attack even more. I was down to 18, bro. Like, that's wild. That's wild. Oh, oh, oh no. Oh no, we're down to 1 HP. Oh no, we're down to 1 HP. You're wildin', bro. You're wildin'. You're wildin', bro. Uh, that's great. Hopefully that doesn't do as much damage. Drill run, please don't do as much damage. Please, no! I should have swapped out. I should have swapped out. What am I thinking? I should have just swapped out. Alright. I should have just swapped out. That was a stupid mistake on my part. I should have just swapped out. I should have just swapped out. I don't know what I was thinking. Should have just swapped out. Go for the seed bomb. Seedy seed. Oh no, didn't do as much damage. Oh no. Didn't go for the poison tail. Oh no, it's a crit. Oh no. We're gonna go for the flying press. Why not? Flying press. Why didn't you? I know! I was going to! But I was being too cocky with myself, okay? I should have baton passed. I know. Stop it. Don't have to tell me twice. I could have done it. But just didn't do it. Alright. I think I got him down to enough HP to seed bomb. But shit! Take it out. Okay, cool. Man, I can't believe I messed up there. I should have just swapped out, you know? I should have swapped out. But I was just being way too cocky about it. Being way too cocky about it. We're gonna go for a flying press. Ooh, I did a good amount of damage. Hyper Beam. That's a very interesting move to have on your Pokemon. Oh, it just went out into oblivion. It just went out into oblivion. Oh no. All we got is our Como. Oh, great. The great Como of Comos. Tingly skills, okay. You get the boosty. So Hyper Beam shouldn't do much damage. Oh, perfect. You get a +2. So we should be fine. Right guys? We should be fine, right? We should be fine with +2. We shouldn't be any cheekier than that, right? We shouldn't worry about nothing, right? We're hoping that that's the case, right? Goes for the Dragon Claw. We should be fine, right guys? Okay. Whew. Ay. Go Flamethrower. Flamethrower should do the damage that we needed to do. And we should be chillin'. Flamethrower should be chillin'. Alright, okay. Get the Charizard coming out. But the Charizard going out. I'm gonna Dynamax. And then I'm gonna just cause I'm gonna Dynamax just because. I feel like I'm gonna win this. I'm just gonna Dynamax. Just because of that. I'm gonna Dynamax. Because I know I'm gonna win. And I'm just gonna Dynamax it. Because as I say, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna win. I might as well just Dynamax for it. Might as well, right? Shouldn't be a problem, right? Hopefully. If there's a Charizard though, we might win, we might not. But I'm +2, so we should be able to just KO. We don't KO. What the fuck? Dude. What the? We lowered his attack though. Ooh, boy, oh boy, oh boy, we lowered the attack though. He does not outspeed me. I can still go. I double speed and oh man, I lowered his attack just in case. Just in case we were gonna not survive, and we survived on 12 HP. Dude, that's lit. I literally thought we were gonna lose that match, and we didn't. Nice. Alright. Hector, GG. GG Hector. GG Hector, GG. You did the damn thing. You literally almost won that match. If I wasn't being so silly with the first Pokemon, we could have had something, you know? But hey, I won. GG. I guess that's the match there. I guess that's the end of this particular Pokemon live stream that we're gonna be doing today, and I get to do a little Pokemon Call of Duty. So we're gonna be live streaming Call of Duty. So see you guys once I start setting up the Call of Duty stream. For whoever is into Call of Duty, you know, you can check me on the Call of Duty stream. See you guys. Bye.